This is a 2023 fresh off the assembly line Toyota GR86. It's one of the last affordable sports cars out there, and it can be yours for $30,000.
And this is also a Toyota 86 from 1985. And it can also be yours for about the same $30,000.
How does a nearly 40-year-old Toyota command the same price as a brand new car?
Today we're going to drive both of them and find out.
Welcome to Donut. Let's start with the new GR86. The modern 86 is a joint venture between Toyota and Subaru to give buyers an affordable sports car at a nice price. Since its debut in 2012, the car's gone by many names.
Like the 86, the FRS, and the BRZ.
But no matter what you call it, all 86s are built by Subaru at their Gama plant with a Subaru-derived flat-4 engine under the hood. Like its 40-year-old ancestor, the 86 is an attempt to maximize the performance potential of otherwise economical components. A sports car designed to give you thrills at every corner while still being accessible to the everyday driver. So, let's see how they did.
Yeah, so this thing makes 228 horsepower, 184 foot-pounds of torque, and claims a 0 to 60 of 5.4 seconds.
That's pretty awesome. The engine also has a red line of 7,500 RPM.
Oh,
it screams.
nice.
It doesn't have Magna-Ride suspension that
Right.
changes its settings depending on what kind of mode you choose.
Of course.
The only modes are traction control off or traction control off track mode, which changes the display
Interesting.
and gives you more readouts of like temperature, oil temperature,
Sure,
coolant
yeah.
temperature.
It's nice. Seems like it could be one button, but
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I really like the way Toyota styled this car. I think it looks great, especially like the big mouth in the front, and it looks aggressive.
Yeah.
Interior, pretty Spartan. The seats, while comfortable, they're cloth. The steering wheel feels very The steering wheel feels very sporty. It's got like those thumb cutouts. The shift knob feels very good. It doesn't look cheap or anything. They feel almost aftermarket.
Yeah.
So it's like you're already buying a car that has the things you already want, and I think that's pretty cool. It has that same almost Miata feel for me, where the steering wheel is like a little lower than you're expecting.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got grunt.
Yeah, it's got grunt. Wow.
Again though,
That's fun.
yeah, it's such a bare bones car. Like, you are the traction control, you are the throttle response, right?
I'm cool with that. I appreciate that.
I love that.
Give me a rating, 1 to 10 for this car as a daily driver.
I'm gonna say like a 7 or 8 out of 10.
7 or 8? Who says that?
7.5 out of 10.
Great. I'm happy
As a
with
daily, strictly daily driving, I think there are some things that other cars do a lot better, but that's not the only reason you buy one of these things.
Right.
But we'll get to that in a little later.
Oh look, the GR86's father, the AE86 Corolla. Let's go talk about that car, because I think that's a little bit more my speed.
Seatbelts are designed to save your life. So think about today's sponsor, Aura, like the seatbelts for your digital life. Personal data like your name, phone number, home address, and even your relatives are accessible online because of data brokers. People who make money selling your information to robocallers, telemarketers, you know, the real salt of the earth types. But when you use Aura, you get comprehensive protection to identify those data brokers and automatically submit opt-out requests on your behalf. They'll even opt you out of junk mail and telemarketing lists. Try a 2-week free trial now by clicking on that link below or just scan the QR code. Now, Aura isn't just personal data protection. It's got a large range of features like VPN, password management, parental controls, real-time monitoring for credit and identity theft, plus much more. It's every online safety tool you'll ever need, all inside one simple app. So just check out that link below, or scan the QR code, or head to aura.com/donutmedia to start your free 2-week trial today. Stay safe out there.
Unlike the GR86, the AE86 was always a Corolla, and the Corolla was always a car for people that just needed something to get around in. But in the late 80s, when Toyota decided to go from rear-wheel drive to front-wheel drive, they decided they wanted to make the last rear-wheel drive Corolla something special. So the 4A engine is nestled into the E chassis, the E80, the 6th variant of that to be exact, and from that we get the beautiful blend of letters that we all know and love, the AE86. The Corolla was entered in all sorts of motorsport events. It even won the British Touring Car Championship twice. There are Corolla-specific racing leagues, and it even did a little bit of rallying. You could say the Corolla can do it all. Now the Corolla wouldn't rise to international stardom without the help of one Keiichi Tsuchiya, but we'll talk more about that later. Let's talk a little bit more about this car. This AE86 is one of the cleanest I've ever seen. Abraham, the owner of this car, has spent a lot of time and effort restoring this thing to beautiful condition. He's upgraded the wheels and tires, the suspension, and we've got a Japan-only front bumper. An AE86 in this kind of condition can easily sell for $30,000 or more to the right collector.
But is that a result of nostalgia or niche markets?
It might be, but there also might be something more to this iconic Corolla.
Let's find out. Manji, dude, Manji.
You can definitely tell right off the bat that it makes less power.
It doesn't feel slow.
Especially when you consider it's 40 years old.
Yes, it feels sprightly. It feels alive. Like the GR86, this 4AGE motor has a red line of 7,500 RPM. Power is rated at 112 horsepower and 100 foot-pounds of torque for 0 to 60 of around 8.5 seconds. Not gonna win a lot of drag races with that, but you know what? That's not what this car is for.
Top to bottom, you know, throttle input, smooth. Shifting, smooth. Brakes, smooth.
Very much from the 80s, very bare bones. You got your steering wheel and your shifter and your climate control, and that's kind of it.
Sure, this doesn't have blind spot mirrors and heated seats and, you know, traction control and stuff like that. But in terms of getting you from A to B, it does it, and it does it pretty well.
How are you feeling right now driving this thing around town?
Probably cooler than I should.
All right, so we've established that this thing's pretty cool, but we gotta talk about why it's so iconic. Back in the 80s, there is a race car driver named Keiichi Tsuchiya, but on the weekends when he wasn't racing, he'd take his Corolla up to the mountains and he starts sliding it around the turns because the car's rudimentary straight axle suspension in the rear made that really easy to do. A video crew hears about Tsuchiya's sliding antics. Together they make a tape. It's called Plus B. Bootleg copies of it spread across the world basically and start inspiring people to get their own cars sideways. Not only did it inspire drivers, Joe, but artists as well. There's a guy named Shuichi Shugeno who made a little comic called Initial D.
Oh, ever heard of it?
The protagonist drives an AE86, explodes in popularity.
It's an iconic car, and you can't forget that while you're driving it. And I don't mean that you shouldn't forget it. I mean, you literally can't forget it.
I mean, they nailed it.
They nailed it.
Yeah. This car was what the GR86 is today, but 40 years ago.
Right. And there will be another set of cars for the next generation.
Yeah. Well, we still have one more drive to do.
All right, both of these 86s probably could be daily drivers.
Both cars are easy to find parking for. They're comfy and somewhat practical.
That's true, but I don't think practicality or putting around town is really why you buy either of these cars.
Which one do you want to drive first?
Now this is where both of these cars were meant to be driven. Neither of these cars make very much power, so you can really push the limits because the limits are so low.
Toyota and Subaru did a lot of work strengthening the car's torsional rigidity. They want the car to communicate better with the driver, and the best way to do that for them was to stiffen it up a little bit.
God, it feels like a light car. 2,300 pounds ain't much, and it brakes so well for such small, tiny brakes.
This car also has electronic power steering. Now, normally people want hydraulic because that communicates a lot better. It's a lot more analog. At least that's what the thinking was. Toyota, as far as I can tell, has done a really good job tuning this electronic system to tell my hands what the front wheels are doing.
Nolan probably feels like he's going so slow right now, where I feel like I'm flying. Oh, what a fun car. Just got to remember that it's not mine, you know?
All right, I'm in the Corolla now. Job is definitely on my tail.
Well, while we've been saying slow car fast, I mean, this is medium quick car.
The suspension is definitely more rudimentary, but I'm driving an AE86 on a canyon road. I don't really care about all that. All right, Job, if I gave you $30,000 right now, which car are you choosing? GR86, AE86?
What do you think I'm gonna go with?
If I had to drive one every single day, definitely GR86. I think it's a great town car, but I just don't think it's as cool as this one.
It isn't.
It's a phenomenal car, drives great.
Absolutely.
I kind of want to get one at this point, but this is cooler. I'm guessing you're probably gonna go with this beauty right here.
You're dang right I am. I'm going with the old one.
Thank you so much for watching Donut. I hope you enjoyed these Toyotas as much as we did.
Oh yeah, and huge thanks to Abe for letting us borrow his beautiful AE86.
We'll see you next time. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss another video.
See ya.
You may have heard of ASMR, but today we're going on a journey called ASM Cars Are Pain. Oof.